what is Reddit worth today? We're watching the market sort that out in real time, but there's a wrinkle worth knowing, so let's talk about it. So Reddit was founded back in 2005. It was sold to Condé Nast. It was later spun out, raised capital at a $3 billion valuation back in 2019. By 2021, that had soared to a $10 billion valuation, though keep in mind that was the peak of the last venture capital and startup bubble. And now finally the company is going public, but it has been a long road to get here. The good news, though, is that all that patience has paid off because Reddit filed to go public back in February. And that gave us a look at its historical financial performance, or in nerd speak, it gave us the numbers. And what were they? Well, Reddit had more than $800 million in revenue last year. However, despite that massive figure, it was still unprofitable. Though it did grow 21% in 2023, so it's certainly worth quite a lot. The only question is just how much? So when a company goes public, how is it valued? Well, it drops its numbers, goes on a roadshow, talks to a lot of wealthy investors, and comes to an agreement with them about what it should be worth. Then it sells a block of stock at that price and begins to trade, and voila, a public company. But what about those investors? How do they decide what's a fair price to pay? Well, they often use similar companies as a point of comparison, or a public comp. Now, a public comp in the case of Reddit could be Snap, another social media company that is unprofitable, or if you wanted to stretch, you could say it's similar to Meta, although that company is much larger and incredibly profitable. So let's use Snap. When you compare Reddit's possible IPO valuation that it has shown us thus far, about $6 billion, it looks a little expensive compared to Snap on a revenue multiples basis. So does that make sense for Reddit to be worth more per dollar of revenue than Snap, which I'm sure you've also heard of? The answer is yes, because it has an ace up its sleeve. And that ace is, well, you guessed it, it's AI. Is Reddit going to roll out a fancy new chatbot to its user base? Well, maybe, but the reason why we care about it right now is that data deals between Reddit and AI companies are proving to be incredibly lucrative. The company signed more than $200 million worth of them just so far this year, and at least $67 million of that revenue will land in 2024. So why do AI companies want to deal with Reddit and give it so much money? Well, words are the grist for the AI mill, and no one has more words than Reddit. So the Reddit IPO is fun. It's a big moment for a tech company. It's a social media success story. It's a storied brand, finally reaching the public markets. But it's also essentially an option on the current AI boom if you are an investor with that in your line of sight. So more when Reddit prices its IPO, but I'll tell you this, Reddit's IPO is going to be the debut of the first half of this year.